Hello, traders. Let me know when you can see me and hear me. Yeah, man, these things aren't doing very well. I have to cut that. Yeah, bear with me just a minute. While I'm doing this, yeah, just jump in, guys. Let me know when you can see me or and hear me. Let's see. Hey, Trader 77, how you doing? Hold on just a minute. Just making a couple of trades to get out of some things. All right, those two things are gone. All right, guys, welcome. Hey, Vito, how are you? Welcome to the support webinar. My name is Andy, and let's see if I'm sorry, guys. It just seems like stuff always happens. It's midday. That's what it is. As soon as I open up, this. All right. So, one other thing. Hold on. All right. Well, what you can do, Vito. Okay, remember you can always use. So in your example there, uh, average true range. You can always use this as a filter. Okay. Now, obviously, you're going to get more expensive stocks in there. If you want to do the from the open, you can do a percentage, and it'll calculate it from a uh, a percentage. But if you're just looking for like a dollar amount range, remember you can use any filters that we have as a column. Okay, so what you'd want to do is just build you a scan with which one or two of these you want to use and drop it in as a column, show column. Okay. So once you show column, you can sort by that column to find the greatest or the highest average true range in your example there or your question there that would answer it. So remember, filters can be very powerful as columns. You can just do a top list, use it as a column, and sort by it. And that would be your answer there. Yes, you know what? It's pretty in depth, Todd. As far as setting up interactive brokers, it would really take probably about half of our session. So we just don't have the time in here. Now I can direct you to what to uh, our. Have you been to our user guide? It'll walk you right through it. All you got to do is just make sure you follow step by step. You wait. You already set it up. It's all connected. Oh, okay. Oh, you're not sure how to set up auto trading. Okay. Well, that's good. I think you got the hard part out of the way since you're connected. Okay. So to set up auto trading, so let me show you. So let me pull up my strategies here. All right. So let's say you have a scan, right, that you want to auto trade. All right. So what you want to do here is go to your strategies tab. Hopefully you have a strategies tab. If you don't see it, click on this little arrow and you'll be able to find it in the margin over there. All right. So once you get a strategies tab, what you want to do is pull over the cloud link of the strategy you want to. No, we don't, Todd. We don't allow AI trading, auto trading. Now the money machine will probably be out in a month. Okay, that will be you'll be able to auto trade. But the AI, we've stopped doing that a couple of years ago. You have to trade the Holly AI manually. Too many people were getting in trouble with slippage and it just became a liability, because of just. So what you can do is you can trade your own strategies. Okay, so let's say I have a strategy. I have a really good strategy over here for trading, and I'm not telling you I have one. I'm just using this as an example. Okay, so what I want to do is right click in here, and I want to load from cloud. Okay, so I come in here and I find something I want to load, pull back. Uh, it has to be an alert, right? It cannot be a top list. You got to have an alert. Something's got to trigger that buy or sell. Okay, so let's say I'm doing this swing trading one right here, this pullback above 50 SMA swing. All right, I click on it and then I load it. Okay, and then you want to make sure you add to existing lists. Don't click on replace all existing lists because it'll wipe out everything you have here. All right, so add to existing list. Now I have this in the strategies portfolio. Okay, so I have this in here now, right? It's telling me I see a symbol coming through 1 minute ago. All right, so let's say I want to auto trade this. Okay, first thing I want to do is my set up my trading strategy. Okay, so I want to edit my trading strategy. Okay, so I come in here and just say it's a long. We know that the direction is long. Okay, accounts, you got to make sure if you're auto trading through I believe you said IB, you want to make sure you grab your IB account. Okay, and once again, there's information in videos also in our user guide that'll walk you through every step how to do this. So I'm just kind of go over it quickly here. All right, you set up your account, you click save, you save it. All right. You want to go over each tab, entry time. Okay. When do you want it to start? Let's say you don't want it to start right at the open. You want to wait 15 minutes. All right. So you drag your little cursor over here to 15 minutes. And let's say you want it to stop at 11 o'clock. All right. And then you want to make sure you read each one of these lines down here and decide if you want to check it or not. Okay. In this case, send orders for a symbol at most once per day. So this is probably something you want to be checked. In other words, you just don't want to keep buying the same stock over and over. Okay. Send order even when holding exists. Okay. So you probably don't want to check that. Stop filling after how many orders. Let's say you got a pretty active window. It may spit out, 40 alerts during the day. You only want to trade 10 of them. You just check that mark here and you put 10 in the box there, and you won't get more than uh, 10 fills. All right. Those are probably the two most popular checks. I wouldn't mess with this use custom route. I'm not sure about what that is. Order details. Okay, you want to put in here if you want to trade fixed dollars, like $10,000, 5,000, or do you want to do fixed shares? I find it best to do fixed dollars, because if you do fixed shares, what if something like Amazon comes through? You're used to trading $10 stocks, and all of a sudden you're buying 10,000 Amazon. But so just make sure you uh, decide which one you want to do. All right, then you just do the order. What do you want, a limit order? Do you want to do a market order? Okay, if it's my case, I'm swing trading. I don't care about missing a few pennies here and there, so I'd probably do a market order. If you have a strategy that it's real explosive, you want to make sure you don't miss anything. You probably want to do either a limit with a delta of about let's see, day in force 5. I'm trying to remember this. I haven't, gosh, let's see, SEC to wait for entry orders to fill before canceling. No, I don't. I think you just do like a day and last price. This is where you do your delta. So in other words, if you're doing a limit and it's last price, you put in here like a negative 2 cents. That means it'll go 2 cents outside whatever that limit price was, and still fill your order. If you want something that's moving really fast, you might want to put 5 or 6 cents in there. Uh, oh gosh, I hate that. Uh, And then risk management, you want to put in your risk management. How much do you want to lose? Okay, you want to do percentage? You want to do dollars? You can also do a filter. I'm not going to get into that. You'll because it's in depth, and I'll send you a link here in a minute that'll help you out with this stuff. And then you can do a trailing stop, but just be careful with the trailing stop. So in other words, you can't do a stop loss and then a trailing loss on top of that. So what I mean by that, if you want to do a trailing stop of 3%, okay, that's also going to be your initial stop as well. So in other words, if you want to trail a stock and let's say it pulls back a percent and you use a 1% in here, it's also going to stop loss you at 1%. So in other words, you can't use 3% on the initial order, then come in here and put a trailing stop of 1%. So anyway, that's it. And let me give you some, our user guide. And it has a nice little search in here. And let's see, auto trading. Okay, yeah, Brokerage Plus, create. Yeah, this will walk you through everything. So just follow that, watch the videos, and there'll be some other things over here in the margin too that will tell you like how to use stop limit, market orders, and things like that, so you can follow along with that. But the best thing is here, just dive in, watch those videos, and you will get it. So I'm just going to drop that in there, and there you have it. All right, Tesla is continuing to motor ever so slowly. Little disappointed in Amazon today. Okay, let me see if I can get a look at what's coming with the new version of Brokers Plus and the software, and when is it expected to be available? It's hard to say. I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of getting impatient, but when you're dealing with like the money machine and stuff that's going to be auto traded and moving very fast, okay, you got to make sure everything's working properly, no bugs, API smooth. It's just, I know we were probably a little over optimistic at first how soon we can get it out, but I wasn't. I figured it would be like this because I've seen it in the past. It's just, you know, you have a lot of testing to do. You have a lot of API work to do. Okay, we got 3 brokers we're trying to hook up to it, so it's just a lot of work. So if I had to guess, I think we're probably going to be sometimes in July, hopefully the first half of July. We'll have a new version. We'll, you know, maybe have a version in late June that you can paper trade. In other words, that's where we'll kind of let you paper trade and work on. So while we work on all the bugs, and then if I had to guess, I'd say to be able to go live, you're talking probably latter part of July, but at least we'll get something in your hand. I would say this month, but don't hold me to that. That's good. If you have a canned strategy that, and Todd, I think we have a lot of people, man. I wish I could show you the executions in our back office of real money that goes through our system. People that create their own strategies and auto trade them. Uh, so I mean, just you can work on it, man, and uh, yeah, you can create some pretty cool stuff. I mean, here's the key about trading strategies. The problem most people have is they just turn it on all the time. Okay, and I can promise you, not every strategy. There's not a strategy out there that's going to be profitable every day. So it's kind of key, when to turn it on. Like today, if it's a long strategy, you came in today, and it may be very effective. If you're coming in where the market is kind of selling off for 5 days, and you're putting a long strategy to work, you may struggle with it. So the key is, when do you turn that on switch? All right, let me get caught up here, make sure I didn't miss anything else. Yes, Vito, as far as pushing a symbol to your list, all right, all you got to do, if you have any kind of scan, all right, with a symbol in it, you just right click on that symbol and you use our send to function. So send ARK to symbol list. Okay. And then you can choose which symbol list to send it to. And all you got to do is click on that list, and it will put it over there automatically for you. Yes, David. Yes. I'm glad you understand. They do. And they do. They always go like that. Yeah, I got some midday shenanigans on that. It's all right. They weren't acting right today anyway. Sorry, just checking through my list real quick. All right, Amazon. Hopefully you're gonna try to get it together here. You've been really disappointing me so far. Same thing from a channel. Okay. If you're in a channel, Vito, all you got to do, there's going to be scans in there that have a symbol list in them, or not a symbol list, but symbols that are appearing in the scans, and just do the same thing. Whether you're in a channel, your own layout, it doesn't matter. Anytime you click on any symbol, you can even do it from the chart. You can even do it from the chart. Send Amazon to symbol list. So anytime there's a symbol that you see on our pretty much on our software, uh, I'm not sure if you can do it from your blotter. I don't think you can do it from your blotter, but any other place. No, Todd, getting back to your credit, we don't provide canned strategies. That's just opening up the door for more trouble with us. Even when this like money machine comes out, there's going to be all such sorts of stuff you're going to have to sign to make sure you understand that this we are not telling you what to do. Right? These are ideas, and enter it. Enter at your own risk. Well, great, Todd. Welcome aboard. Yeah, I don't know how long you've been on, but the best thing I do would just be spend the first couple of weeks, just spend time with it. Go through the user manual. There's so much value in here. Depends on what type of trader you are. Me, I'm a swing trader. I use it to uh, find decent swing trades like this TGEN that I missed today. You know, uh, but I don't know if you're good at creating strategies to trade. You mentioned, like auto trading, things like that. And I think you even mentioned that you had a decent one. Uh, Good question. Okay, so this is the way I use it, right? Okay, I have some scans in here of stuff that I like to trade. It's hot stuff, AI stocks, nano nukes, quantums, uh, whatever might be the hot topic that day. If something else comes out, I'll make a symbol list and watch that. But what I like to do is my homework, and I'll share this with you, okay? Because there's some really good stuff in here. So I do this each morning. I make a video, put it on Twitter, highlighting some about four of the stocks that I like the best. But these are just all scans that are setting up on the daily time frame, like this right here. This ASPI had a nice pullback. Now it's trying to pop back above its moving average. Now, I don't typically look at this during the day. What I like to do is look at it in the evening or early in the morning before my day starts, and I like to basically go through set price alerts on stocks that are setting up well. You're going to see some overlapping between these scans. They're a little bit different, but sometimes like this ASPI, you're going to see it in a couple of scans. Um, and this is what I'll do. I'll go through each day, and what I do is I kind of go through and curate the list and make me what I call the watcher, list. Uh, Sometimes it works nice. I mean, some work, some don't. That's the problem, but uh, the one example is I did buy this XNet today. I like the way it was pulled back after recently hitting highs. So I'm nibbling on that one right there. Has the potential to get back through that 10 period moving average and move higher. A frame was on the list today, and you can see coming into today, just had a nice little bottoming tail yesterday and popped up there nicely. And now you're seeing some follow through. I didn't get this one. It kind of moved too early in the morning, but that's a nice looking chart. Trying to think what stocks loved Amazon. It's just being stubborn today. I mean, that had a beautiful look. Of course, Tesla is my biggest position right now. That one, clearing that. So you can see I'm just looking for stocks that kind of set up. The RBN had a nice setup coming in today. That was on my list. So that's my style, and like I said, I'll make a video and put it on. I'll actually put it on our YouTube channel and our Twitter channel. Some people love momentum scans. They want to trade momentum. They want to trade fast move. I did that for 15 years. I'm just Jones and looking for, looking for stuff in action. I don't do that anymore. I got too old. So, I slowed things down playing the swing game. Mbot was one. I didn't put it on my list today, but may go on my list tomorrow. Uh, but there you have it. RIVN. Let's see what is step two. If it's going to get a little, it's kind of got a lot of moving averages to deal with. Gosh, I wish I wouldn't have I wish I wouldn't even seen those. Got me out. Ah, freaking midday shenanigans. All right, let me see. No, no, no. Nobody has the same type of scanners that we have out there. First of all, uh, nobody does like real time price alert. I mean alerts like we do. There's a lot of scans, screeners out there. Let's call them what they are. They're screeners where you put in your things that you're looking for. Yeah, you could probably create something like I created. But the best thing that we have is real time. Our scans like every 10 or 15 seconds will uh, refresh. Okay. Whereas a lot of your scanners, I think you actually have some, most of them, you have to go back in and kind of do the manual refresh, put back in your things. So, and then real time alerts. Nobody does real time alerts, quite like we do. But yeah, as far as narrowing down my final selections, you know what? A lot of times I don't do that. I mean, like I said, I'll make a video like on stocks, to watch today. Uh, Today on my list was Amazon, and it did trigger at 2701. Ooh, this ASPI, I picked it up yesterday down near the bottom, down right around here. Now it's trying to pop up here. So yeah, Vito. So I'll make a list and then I'll highlight some. BBAI was actually on the list today, but it's not doing anything. It's kind of stuck in here. It did trigger, but it's nowhere near its stop. But uh, no follow through. Seeing a lot of that lately. Especially coming into today when we'll be stuck in a range for like over 2 weeks now, makes it tough. And so I'm taking going into today over the last 2 weeks. I haven't been taking very many of them. I've been buying mostly stuff kind of on pullbacks. I mean, I want to present people and give them, ideas of stocks to watch, but you always have to keep the backdrop of the market in play. And really, until today, we have been stuck in a range for a very long, for basically, dang, 3 weeks. So now we're trying to poke out of it. We'll see if we can get some follow through out of it. So yeah, a lot of stocks, most stocks are at the mercy of kind of the market, the overall indices, and yeah, I think that's why today maybe you're seeing a move in Tesla and a move possibly in Amazon. Can finally get out of this range. Well, Todd, a lot of our like legacy technology is, even though it's you maybe 6 years ago, we were so far advanced, even when we came out, gosh, 25 years ago, and a lot of the stuff like building alerts, building uh, top list, uh, even like the connections with IB and E Trade and things like that, they've been out for a while and they haven't changed much. Now obviously we're spitting out new technology like the races. Anything you see on the races is not going to be 6 years old. Anything you know you our focus lately obviously has been the money machine. So you maybe Seeing some videos out there of, Dan showing you the money machine. But our user guide is pretty up to date. And also come to these, come in here and ask questions. If you have a question about something, go to Barry's, trading room. He's always good about helping when things slow down. Let's see. I don't have a race up. Let's see. Race. I don't want the race layout. I don't want to lay out. See, the thing about the race and the reason I don't have it up, it's just not my style. If I was a day trader, I'd probably, use one. Uh, man, I think it's probably called something else. What's it called? The one I used to have up all the time. Hmm. I think it was relative volume. There you go. No, relative strength race. VWAP from open. There we go. All right. So this is based upon relative strength. Okay, and what it's going to do is kind of track. The race. This race is 3 minutes long. Okay, and what it'll do after it runs the race, okay, it'll reset and start running it again. And what you're going to see are stocks that are moving the most, like in a 2 minute time frame, uh, on this race. Now it is midday. I mean, obviously during the first 3 hours of the day, this thing's going to be a lot more active. But like this MCTR, okay, so what you're seeing here in MCTR, you're going to be seeing some uptick. So this one was probably coming through earlier in the day, and probably it was when it was pulling back, probably not seeing this much at all in the race. Now what's happening? It's trying to turn around and maybe go back to highs. So now you're seeing it come through. So it's going to give you like the top leaders are going to be, leading. And then once a race is finished, okay, it lists the winners over here in kind of the winners block. All right. So it's gonna start listing these stocks that have won races. Okay. And this will build up throughout the day. And you can kind of look through there and see, oh wow, this MCTR has won like 7 or 8 races. That means there's some serious, money coming into this. So just from me pulling this up right now, you would see like this is something you probably wouldn't see in a top list, right? So, but in a race, you're going to be able to see, wow, this thing's on the move. And really, it's the only one right now. Let's take a look at the second place guy. Well, it's kind of already had its move, so it's not doing anything immediately right now. So this MCTR is the only one that's really moving during this time right now. And like I said, in the opening, couple hours of the day, this thing is real active. You got a lot of these things shuffling back and forth. It's like a horse race. It really is. What's the point, Todd? I mean, gosh, I mean, when this thing just took off just then, this thing was trading at like 950. It's already ran a buck. So you can definitely catch if you're a momentum trader, you can definitely catch momentum in these. So if you're not into like trading momentum, it's probably not for you. If you're looking for, if you're looking for setups, you probably want to look at something else. Build your scan to find good setups. But yeah, there's a lot of people that do like the races. Okay, so now you just see that this finished this race in MCTR, right? It just won that race. Now it starts back over after 3 minutes. Now if this stalls out and then another one starts to jump to the top and take the lead, like this NPWR. Okay, you can see just had a pop there, something that you might not see, on a alert window or a top list. And now you can see this MCTR is not on here right now, even though it won that race. What's happening in this time frame? It's really not moving. It's probably breathing a little bit, maybe pulling back. Okay, good. Yeah, it's. I'll share this with you as well in case you want to check it out. That's it's a pretty good race. Chris built this one. There you go. So kids just took the pole position. Now let's see. Now kids is having a little move. Nice little setup there. Good chance it might go to this high. Gosh, I wish I hadn't pulled it up. Kind of what makes me want to start trading some of this stuff. Can I share in the chat? I just dropped that in there. True Seeker. Did you? It's just right above you. Do you see it? I hope you're not asking me for like Barry's room chat. I can't do that. I don't. I'm not. I don't even think I have access to do that. Hmm. Oh, that's because I'm in promotional. Gosh, hold on just a minute. Yeah, I gotta hold on. I gotta switch my account here. Let's see if I can do that. Hopefully, it won't mess up the stream. Shouldn't. All right, now let me try that. See if it does it. If not, Steve's in here. I'll send it to Steve. Sorry about that, True Seeker. Lee, I don't think I can do it. I'll get Steve to do it. It's not. I signed in. I'm supposed to switch back to. I didn't know I was going to go today, so I always use the promotional one to do my videos each morning, drop them in there, and it's not letting me switch unless I probably have to close the YouTube and re-sign back in. I don't want to do that. It may lose the stream. I'll get Steve to do it. Yeah, let me see if I dropped. Okay, yeah, I was the autos trading strategy. Okay, Steve just dropped that in there for me. Thank you, buddy. And I don't want to get him to do too much here. So, guys, if you're interested in that auto trading strategy, just go to our user guide, right? You can find that actually on our website and just go to search and just type in auto trading and it'll pull you to this section. You're welcome, True Seeker. Okay, so kids just won that race. And now look at here. The MCTR decided to get in this race again. So look at that move, Todd. I mean, since that first time we saw it, man, just this is what the race will kind of point out to you. This thing's trying to go back to highs. Man, now I'm gonna have to find a place to put this again. So when the money machine comes out, the money machine is kind of built off races. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that's going to be looking for. Which stocks are moving, in the latest time frames, like whether it be a 2 minute, a 3 minute. So this is the kind of stuff that a lot of traders you can't find manually looking through your scans and stuff like this, where the auto trade, the money machine will automatically be getting you in stocks like this. Uh, and like I said, it's built off the kind of the race technology. So it's going to be, I can't wait to get my hands on it to play around with it. BKKT, crypto company popping up here. Yeah, well, first of all, I always like to have it, Vito, in my single stock window. You can see I always have float and always have short float over here. Like this BKKT, it only has 5 million in the float and 20, so almost 26% of it is short. Now, once again, remember, Vito, what I told you, use columns. Okay, so here's one called Squeeze Me. I got this from Steve, right? Steve likes to look for stocks that have a big short float. Okay. Look at their short float percentage as a column. And all you got to do is just click, on any column and it's going to sort, by that column. So it is, I don't know what you mean by DT. So, oh yeah, I just heard Barry's list go off. Yep, seeing some action there. But remember that, Vito, just any this is where filters become very powerful if you use them if you want to see like this squeeze me, you want to say, well, let's see what's happening over the last 5 minutes. Anything's moving. Look at this volume in the 5 minute. Click on that, and you can see this ATHR is seeing a move of volume in the recent 5 minutes. So learn to use these columns. They can be very, like I said, very powerful. Relative volume, maybe you wanna see which ones are the strongest relative volume. KYMR doing 6.33. Of course, that's a good luck with that. And that did make it to highs, MCTR. Keep it over here. Keep an eye on some of the stuff. Boy, Tesla. Yeah, I see David was trying to tell me it's not in the chat as well. Yeah, sorry guys. Forgot to. I'm usually good about switching that, but like I said, I did not know I was supposed to be on today. Okay, NPWR, little 250 stock, electric power generation. LFST, I remember seeing that's come through Barry's watch list occasionally. All right, wrap. So MCTR has won two of the three races since we've been running. Looks like wrap is going to win this one. TNGX. That was a nice move today. All right, we'll pull this aside for a minute. It's getting that time of day where let's see, FT is take one more look. Yeah, these overextended ones I don't really care that much for. I'd rather catch those ones like we saw MCTR earlier, kind of coming out of a. Whew, no Tesla, kind of extending now. Yes, you can. You can change the time limit if you just come in here and you go. Now, I may be a little bit rusty because it's been a while, but if you come in here and you go to show race setup, and what you want to do, you can't really do anything while it's green and running, so you want to stop it. Okay, so now you can come in here and you can change the minutes to run. Just come in here where it says minutes to run. You can run it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want to do. Just change that, and you should be good. Now, just remember to anytime you make a change, you want to save it again if you want to. Just like changing a configuration in a top list or something, you got to come in. You got to save it afterwards. That's how you do it. You're welcome. And then it'll always stop anytime you do that and hit refresh. It'll start back over. All right, we got about 10 more minutes. So if you got any more questions, be sure to fire away. And Meanwhile, I'm going to show you areas where I am looking to maybe hoping some of these things like Oklo comes back to the 10 period moving average. And this is where I do a lot of times instead of looking for setups that are breaking out to the upside, I look for strong stocks and where they may pull back to, kind of like how I caught that AISP. I had an alert yesterday in here. I said, well, if this pulls back to the 20, uh, so Oklo, I would love to get that off the 10 period. Uh, that NNE is having a hard time holding it, but I would love to catch that maybe off the 20. This is another one you see I have a price alert. If this thing comes down, it's really having a hard time today. If it comes down to anywhere near that 20, I want to know about it. So preparation. This GFI, I've been in this forever. I've scalped out. I've made some money scalping some out, but I just keep hoping this thing's going to go. Matter of fact, I sold some today at 18 up there. Looking at the sectors, you got OIH is having a really good day. I just don't like swing trading. I hate. I do it occasionally, but it's really difficult to trade like oil stocks and gold stocks when they move with a commodity, which you don't know. You get such crazy overnight movements sometimes. Kind of like Bitcoin stocks too. Speaking of Bitcoin, right, that's kind of rolling over here. EU just popped up off the race. All right, let's take a look around at the indices. Always a good thing to do. Okay, you got Q's multi-month high here. Looks like at least 3 months. Still have a ways to go. Always nice to find that all-time high and put a alert in there. And let's do the same for the spies. Very same looking pattern. And IWM was kind of making a move today. Nice little move there. Horseshoe. New issue there. Soap and detergent manufacturing. Not giving up on Amazon. I still think this has a big move in it at some point. And if it does break out through today's high and takes out that what 3 week high, call it, I think it's what we need. Because really, yeah, not that impressive so far today. Ooh, sound was doing better earlier, and it kind of gave it up there. Let's see, MCTR still coming through my race over here as the leader. Man, that was a gosh. From when we saw it, it was around $9. $4 move. It depends on your broker, Todd. Yeah, it has nothing to do with trade ideas. Each individual broker, some brokers have a really good short book, some don't. Centerpoint has a real good short book. I imagine they they would have it. You can always can't okay, IB and Schwab. You can always request it and see. Sometimes they have few shares. There's obviously you look over there and you see position in year range, lifetime range is there's no resistance. Doesn't mean he can't stop going up, but back when I shorted in day trading, I would like to find areas of resistance, on these things that are. Look at the volume of that thing right now. Jeez, crazy. Jeez, look at the float, 300K. I'm not sure if that's right, but that's it's crazy. Wonder if Barry caught that. Yeah, definitely. Mind Med. Looking pretty good. I mean, a little tired, got up there to the $8 level. It's up another 4% today, but looking strong. Now, for an intraday trader, I would like for it to, get back above that 10. Maybe set an alert. If it pops back up against that 10 period moving average and takes out that high, could have another push to it because so you look at the daily, it doesn't have really any resistance until 820 level. So yeah, that not huge volume. Okay, relative volume is only 1.43, so it's not doing huge volume. So you don't have that, pushing it higher. But technically, it really, in most cases, they reach that point. Now it could reach that point tomorrow or the next day, but yeah, there's no resistance until that number. It's what you call the next high. Yeah, if it was doing like, 3 or 4 relative volume, I would be, much more inclined to say it's going to get there today, but uh, it's just the volume's not there. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Yes, yes, Trader 77 is right. Price is more important than volume. That's absolutely correct. Volume doesn't pay. The price was what pays. No, Todd, we don't. We do so much, in YouTube. It's just a lot of rendering, when you do these hour-long videos. So we don't record these. I don't think. Gosh, you might want to send an email. I could be wrong. It could be reason I'm saying is StreamYard might have some sort of like automatic recording or something like that. So send an email if you want to know for sure. I could be wrong. It's info@trade-ideas.com. Oh, Peppy says yes. They are archived in the live section of this channel. Okay, I stand corrected. I'm glad Peppy's here. Todd, the only phone support we have is for we're just too busy. There's only a few traders here, and we're just too busy to do phone support. So the only support we have is for billing. If you have any billing questions or anything like that, you can contact it. You can find it, on our website. Uh, I don't know it off the top of my head. Let's see. Contact us. There you go. But if you have any questions, regarding like any sort of trading questions or anything like that, best place is always come in here and ask them because you have a visual where we can kind of show you things. Like I showed you the race today. It's kind of hard talking about a race with text. So yeah, be sure if you do have any questions for traders, just send it to info@trade-ideas.com. Yeah, Pepe is always right, man. You can't get anything past Pepe. You got to get up awful early in the morning to try, and you still won't. All right, guys, that's it for today. Uh, have a good one. Keep it tight, and I'll be back on Friday, and we could talk about how this week panned out. But have a good one, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye bye.